Hey everybody! Well, today we're going to take a look at this awesome Imperial Shuttle. So this is from the Micro Galaxy Squadron series, and this is Series 4. Now, I've seen these in stores, but I didn't really jump on any of them, even though they looked pretty good. I almost bought the TIE Fighter, but this one here is really cool. Now, this is the Imperial Shuttle. It's my all-time favorite ship from Star Wars, and when I saw that they made this, I had to get in on it. So there's a 40th Anniversary Return of the Jedi sticker right there. I'm not sure you can kind of see it. Can't believe it's been 40 years already. That's insane. Now, it does come with some micro figures of Emperor Palpatine and then a couple of these Imperial Royal Guards. Now, on the side here, we got this really nice artwork. And on the back, it shows that it does have some pretty cool features. It actually has a lot of features considering, that it's the size that it is. Now, these wings will move up and down. There's a section on the middle that opens up, and you can see the interior, and there's an emperor, the emperor can sit down on that throne that he always sat on. I guess they have that inside there, I don't know. And then there's a couple of chairs, it's like several chairs in here, so you can have the guards sitting there as well. The gun on the back will pivot from side to side, and also the cockpit flips open, and you can have the guards flying the ship. So it's really cool. This is so cool. And there's a little ramp that drops down here at the bottom. And over here you can see there's some other ships that you can get as well. So this is really neat. All right, well, let's open this up and check it out. All right, so I got it out of the package, and there is some assembly required on this, so you're going to have to snap the wings in. So they just fit inside this slot like this, and they snap in pretty easily here. If I can get it all the way in. There we go. I think that's in all the way. No, it's not. Let's see if I can get that in. There we go. I will say that the instructions on this leave a lot to be desired. They don't really explain a lot of stuff. And then we have this top piece here. Also, the weathering on this looks really good. We'll get a closer look at all of this. Got to make sure we put this in properly, like that. At least that one went in pretty decent, I think. I'll have to mess with that a little bit more. So here are the micro figures, and they are micro. They're super, super tiny, as you can see here. So the legs do bend, so you can have them sit down. And then also the arms, sorry for the fingers here, but you can see that his arms are also movable. His arms seem to move independently like that, but on the Imperial Guards here, who also can sit down, their arms seem to move in tandem, as you can see here. So it's kind of cool. I mean, as tiny as they are, they do have a little bit of flexibility to them. And here is the shuttle itself, and it looks great. I absolutely love this. So I'll get some close-ups of it so we can check out the details. But I love the weathering they did on this. They did a nice bit of weathering on it, and it looks really good. So the wings do snap in, and then the top fin piece snaps, and you have to push it all the way down too. I didn't have that all the way down in that section right there, but it looks really good. Now I kind of made this makeshift stand out of foam board. That's one thing I do wish this had, was a stand to it so that you can pose it in flight mode like this. I love these engines back here. That looks really good. Very nice, and it has a couple of hidden things on it that are really neat. But yeah, very cool. All right, let's take a look at all the cool features. Let's take a look at some of the cool details on here, starting with this top fin. We can see that tan colored panel right there, and then these darker ones. See all that cool weathering? They did a really good job on the weathering on this. Probably just some dry brushing, I would imagine. It's a pretty large model once you have the wings all spread out like this. It looks so much smaller in the package until you get it all put together. There's some nice detail here. You can see the underside. Under the nose right there as well. Very, very cool. There's some interiors in this that I got to show you. Here's the other side of that wing. Yeah, I love this. Now on the back here, I love the way they did these engines. It looks like there's some kind of grill or something in there. That is so neat. Yeah, I love the ship. It's got such a sleek look to it. All right, let's check out some of the interiors on it. So the cockpit, you can flip it up. So you reach back here and just pull this. Now, I will say that things are kind of rough, and sometimes I feel like I'm going to break it. You can see how the top of that opens up. So here's the inside. You can see all the seating. And I think there's some more back in that back area. Looks very cool. Nicely detailed. This whole top section can open. You gotta kind of get your thumb under this panel, and it's not the easiest thing to open and get access to, but once you pop it off, you can see how that comes off. There's some more really great interiors right there. Now on the inside you can see Palpatine's throne. That's very cool. There's some seats right here in the foreground. Looks like there's 4 of them, and there must be 4 more back inside there. So you can get more of these micro figures and have them sitting in there. There's also this cool little hallway right here that leads to the, I'm guessing, the ramp that's underneath, or maybe some doors on the side. There's the cockpit. Now you can see some more of those seats. And we also got this nice detail back here. It looks like part of the engines. It's very detailed for the size. I think it's really awesome. Now, I have to say, trying to get Emperor Palpatine to sit down in his throne on his chair there is really hard because his feet are really wide where that robe kind of widens out at the bottom of his feet. So it's hard to get it in between those 2 things in the front of his seat. You have to raise his arms completely up and then kind of put him in sideways between those 2 things in front of the seat. And then you can finally get him to sit there. Looks like it's going to be the same kind of thing going on with these seats because they also got that thing in front. So trying to get those guys, the Imperial Guards, to sit in there is difficult. I just put them right there for display purposes, but just know that it's a bit of a struggle to get him in there, but he does look cool once he's sitting on his throne. I just noticed there's some more details right down inside there. Look at all those greeblies. Very, very cool. Yeah, I love that. All kinds of nice detail in there. Putting this panel back on is a bit of a struggle. You have to kind of make sure that you get it in there just right. And also make sure you have the cockpit up as well, because it's just a lot easier if you can get that out of your way. And then that way everything is kind of even. And then this comes down and snaps in place. And it feels like you're going to break everything because it's snaps, but you just kind of manhandle it a little bit and it'll do what you want it to do. Another great feature is that you can make the wings retract. So let's take it off this stand. Now it's kind of cool because one wing will move the other one. See how it actually moves the wing like that? Now I don't really recommend doing that. It puts a lot of stress on there. I would say use both hands, and they go all the way up and you can hear them ratchet. As you can see here, it looks really cool. It looks just like it does when it's in the landed mode. And they kind of have that nice ratchet, so you can kind of stop it wherever you want. But they are linked with each other, which I found interesting. And they move very nicely. Yeah, I like it. So it's ready for landing when it looks like that. Now here's what the bottom of it looks like. There's one little lonely screw right here, but there's these little landing pads. So when you pop these out, once again, you got to be kind of rough with this stuff. It's a little rough. But it pops out like that and like this. And then you have to kind of go even a little bit further. I thought I was going to break it, but you have to pop it all the way like this. That way these are flush and flat so that you can make it land like this. And you can kind of set it down. And it's a little front heavy, so it's not going to sit just right. But there is also on the bottom this ramp. You can see it right here. So now this opens up. And that's where the Emperor comes out. Doesn't open very wide, so when it's sitting down, there's definitely not enough room for the Emperor to come out, because here he is right here. Let me put him in front. So you can see how low to the ground that sits. So realistically, that's not how it would actually work. And then I couldn't figure out how the ramp goes back in, because you try to push it in and it's not staying. Turns out there's a little button right here. When you push that, it locks it. Now that's really cool. The little instruction for that is so tiny that if you didn't see it, you wouldn't know. I happened to see this and I didn't know what it did, and then I just did it by accident. So you'll just pop it out like that, and then to push it back in, you just go like this. It's neat. I really like that feature. I think that's really cool. So I'm guessing the intention of the ramp is to act like the front landing gear, and that's why it has that special lock on it, because as I said, it's front heavy without it. So yeah, this is actually what's holding up the front. Now you're not having it tip forward, but it's so weird how they did that. But I do like it. Once you figure it out, no thanks to the instructions, it works pretty good. But like I said, it's not very realistic. Here you can get a better view of it now. So yeah, the Emperor would have to pretty much crouch down and crawl out of there. It's pretty funny. Once you get the guards seated in the front, you can actually see them through the front windshield. Very neat. I thought that was completely blacked out, but it's not. And it's really hard to get those guys in there. You really got to smash their feet into that front area underneath. Now these turrets will actually turn as well for the little guns. It's a little stiff on these things, but you can see that they do move. You don't really want to push them like this because you don't want to break these. But once you've moved them a few times, they are a lot more loose. Same thing for this side here. I can get a grip on them, kind of squeeze them together so you can move these around. And then also the one on the back here, it is able to go from side to side. I will say not very much though. It's a very limited amount. I think they said 30%. So yeah, I mean it's neat. It's cool that it moves, but that one's really super limited. But it's another nice feature. And here's another view of it in landed mode. It looks good either way. I mean, you can display this in landed mode. I mean, look how good that looks. That looks so cool. I love this ship so much. So you can pose it this way or you can pose it in flight. I just wish it came with a stand. Like I said, I think that was one thing that it really needed. I would have paid a little bit more for this if it had a stand for it. So there we go, the Micro Galaxy Squadron Imperial Shuttle. Oh man, this thing is so cool. I love this so much. Now, I think when this first came out, which was I think a couple of weeks ago, it sold out everywhere. So I just happened to find it by accident. I found it on Amazon. I paid just under $30 for it. I'm assuming that's probably what it retails for in stores. I think you'll be able to find these at Target, Walmart, Amazon, pretty much all those places. But this is really cool. I highly, highly recommend this. If you're a fan of this ship, this is such a great representation of it. And it's not too big, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. But it's still a nice size that you can really get some nice details in it. Oh man, I just love this. I can't tell you how much I love this. Alright, well that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I very much appreciate it. And until the next time, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one!